Working now? Okay. Again, good afternoon. My name is Judge Lewis White. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. Tell you how much of a pleasure it is. I missed my lunch to come here to talk to you guys. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot. But and Judge McCollum will be coming to replace me at around 1:30 because she wanted to speak to you as well. Again, my name is Judge Lewis White. I'm the associate judge for the county courts in Fort Bend County. And 6 county courts, and I'm the associate judge for all 6 of the courts. Okay. I don't really know anybody in the room. I don't think. Do anybody know me? Do I know anybody? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm talking about any of the kids. Any of the kids know me? Okay. No. Okay. Well, you'll see me. I'm the judge who handles most of the detention hearings for the county. Okay. So if you get in trouble, you will most likely see me. I'll be the first judge you will see. A little bit about my background so you guys can know a little bit about me. Again, I'm originally from Fort Worth. I went to Thurgood Marshall Law School in Houston. I graduated a long time ago, probably before most of you. Well, I'm pretty sure most of you were not born when I graduated. I went to be a prosecutor. Started off as a prosecutor. Went to be a defense attorney for a while. Then I became the associate judge. Y'all don't want to hear about any of that. Y'all all bored? Yeah, tell me if you're bored. Just raise your hand. Just be honest. Are you bored? Just raise. Don't be afraid to raise your hand. I have a teenage daughter who is 15, and she gets bored very easily when I talk. So just tell me, y'all bored? Raise your hand if you're bored. So y'all want to know about me for real, right? My real life. Or what do y'all want to know about? Talk, yeah, I am. But let's talk about life. You want to talk about real life? Really? I'm being. Who wants to talk about real life? Okay. So you tell me, what do y'all want to do? Like, what do you want to do? You don't know yet. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, so, well, somebody else, tell me what y'all want to do, and then we'll talk about real life. Huh? And I prefer not an adult. I was hoping, but no, but that's okay. No, that's okay. Let's go. Okay. The adult criminal system is a lot different than the juvenile criminal system. Um, Adult system, once you turn 17, and I hate to say it like this because I'm actually about to go to do adult court right now, what we call jail docket. Um, they don't really care as much about you. In the juvenile system, it's all about trying to make sure that you can be successful in life. Okay, and that's what we focus on a lot of times. And I know everybody thinks that's, but it's the truth. Okay, they want you to be successful, so we try to aim for you to be successful. The adult system is more about, to be honest with you, a little bit more about punishment. So that's the difference. I guess y'all still bored, right? But y'all haven't told me what y'all want to talk about. I got to kill 20 minutes. Y'all need to tell me something. Come on, seriously. Can I get anything from anybody? My hobbies. Uh, Play college basketball. Yeah, a long time ago. I'm not very good anymore. But so, huh? I'm still fast. No, I'm not fast anymore. You know, I can't yeah, I can still shoot. If you want to come get, find out, I can still shoot. I still got a little bit in me. But I played college basketball. I started off at a school called Angelo State, which is Division II. I got in a car accident and ended up graduating from a school, McMurray University, which is in Abilene. What's wrong with Abilene, man? Law school takes 3 years. So again, I went to Thurgood Marshall, 3 years of law school, 4 years of undergrad. What made me know that law school was for me? I did not know law school was for me. I graduated undergrad. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a basketball coach, right? A high school coach. And so when I graduated, I I didn't do student teaching. And so they had a program at my college that if I took a year off, I could go back to school for free and finish my student teaching. Well, I had a professor who was just like, hey, why don't you take the LSAT and let's see how it goes. Took the LSAT, um, got into law school, and ended up going to law school. And that's how it pretty much worked out. So no, I did not know what I wanted to do when I was your age or anything like that. I went to college just to play basketball. So that's just being honest. I I grew up in you familiar with Fort Worth a little bit? I grew up in Fort Worth, and I grew up in a place, the south side of Fort Worth. If you want to Google it, you can Google it. So I came from a difficult neighborhood, and all I wanted to do was just play basketball. Like I just literally went to school to play basketball, and I got to school and I was like, hey, you know, I have to pass to play basketball. So we went to class so I could pass, right? And then I got in a car accident. When I got in a car accident, I said, hey, I'm already here. I might as well go ahead and complete school, right? And make my grandmother happy, my mom happy, and that's what I did. So that's how I ended up, you know, because the judges have to wear those robes. My job is very stressful because I deal with youth a lot, and dealing with youth who won't even talk, right? Right. It's difficult. So it's really stressful. Um, my favorite part, which is surprisingly, is the youth, the kids, because at the end of the day, when we look at you guys, I see a lot of you guys are like me. And I was goofy. I would ask the question about how cold it was when I was growing up. Um, and I tell a little story. When I was a kid, I don't even want to tell y'all that because y'all don't want to know the real. Y'all just told me y'all. No, y'all don't. Y'all don't want to know the real. Y'all keep acting like y'all. You got a question? Okay, go ahead. Man, man. I well, I passed the bar the first time. Man, why I gotta take the bar a whole bunch of times? Why you keep asking me that? I passed it the first time. Like I don't remember what I made, but I passed it the first time. Yeah. So yes. I don't even remember what I've been a lawyer for 20, going on 22 years. So it was a long time ago. I don't really remember the scale, to be honest with you. Go ahead. With adults, I compassion. That's a. I think I'm compassionate towards everyone, but the end of the day, I have a job to do, right? The prosecutor has a job to do. The defense attorney has a job to do, and we all try to do our jobs. And I feel like I am compassionate. The But the thing is that when I told you before, once you turn 17, 18 in our system, the way you're treated is different. Okay, there's no more kitty gloves. At that point, it becomes like, hey, if you committed a crime, or if you're found to have committed a crime, then it's more of a punishment phase to try to make sure that doesn't happen again. Eh, go ahead. No, what was the question? You said something earlier. Oh, I thought you said something earlier. No. Okay. Any more questions? No more questions? No more questions. I was that's an interesting question. Okay, so I started off as again a prosecutor. So I worked at the district attorney's office. I started off in the district attorney's office in West Texas, Odessa, Texas. Um, and then I became a prosecutor in Fort Bend. And then I was prosecutor for a few years. And then I went to private practice. So no more questions, right? Wow. 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 What? Wow. Let me tell you. In my case, it doesn't. Two of my judges are Republican. Four of my judges are Democrats. So that should tell you all you need to know. But that's a great question. Yes. Um. Any more questions? Yes. Yes. I get emotional about cases all the time. Like I have. I well, I had a kid yesterday, and I think a lot of times we forget how fortunate we are, right? And it's always somebody who's probably worse shape than you are. I know people we kind of tend to forget that sometime in our world. And I had a kid in front of me yesterday, and he was a in child protective services, CPS custody. And he had a lot of medical conditions going on, and I can tell you, I teared up a little bit. He was crying, and I started crying. But so we have cases like that you do get personally attached to. Yes, all the time, all the time. And it's a situation where it always ends in a for them, and like I said, I'm not one to fuss and I'm not one of the ones who's gonna say, I told you so type of thing. You can always hear, don't do drugs, drugs are bad. And I'll tell you that, don't do drugs. And you guys all know that, right? You see people, later on in life and see the results on some of that sometimes when they get addicted to drugs and things happen. But a lot of times, life is the best teacher when it comes to stuff like that, right? I've seen kids who start off in the juvenile system. I had a young man that I actually represented when I was a defense attorney. He saw me at the jail. I didn't recognize him, but he recognized me, and he was like, "Hey, I know you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "You were my attorney." Okay. I said, "I guess you didn't listen." And seriously, and he said, "No, I wish I would have." So that's what I tell the kids. I mean, at the same time, I can tell you not to do certain things, and but you're not going to listen until you put in a situation. And that's why I said that's why today I asked you if you guys wanted me to keep it real. I keep it real with you guys. I'll tell you who I'm from and who I am and how I got to the point where I am in life. Um, my brother was a drug dealer. My brother sold drugs for 30 years. Yeah, he was a drug dealer. I represented my brother. This is all true. You can go Google it. I represented my brother on the case. So when you want to talk about life, we can talk about life and how you got choices you can make and what roads you can go down and what happens with you. I have my best friend from middle school overdose, OD. Did I make my brother pay for me? He he didn't have to pay for me, but this I'm gonna tell you the problem with that is that I don't think he realized the pressure that he put on me. When you represent your brother on a case, you have your parents and family who don't know, and they go, "Oh, well, you got to beat that case. Or you're not a good attorney if you don't beat that case, right?" Right? But I didn't do anything wrong. He did it, right? So he didn't. So that's the pressure he put on me for his life. I didn't choose that life. No, he didn't. No, no, no. But that's not the point. Yeah, I beat it. But again, me beating the case, and he stopped selling drugs when I beat the case. So they offered him 15 years. And when he didn't want to do 15 years, he got caught in the car with his um baby mama and their son. And they told him straight up, like, if you do not confess to this, we will take your kid away from you. So again, that's pressure that I have to be put under. So when it comes to, like, if you want to hear about the real life and what's life, that's real life. Have I sentenced somebody? I do misdemeanors. So we don't sentence people. You can only go to jail for a year. You can go to jail for a year. But the longest I've had somebody sentenced is 50 years. When I was a defense attorney, a guy got 50 years. Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, the drugs are on both sides of it, because at the end of the day, it ends. And once it ends, you got to figure out what you're going to do with that. So, I had a lot of friends who, like I said, my best friend in high school, he overdosed. So, and he overdosed when I guess he was probably in his 30s. So again, we can tell kids to stay away from drugs, but sometimes you just got to remember, until you start seeing people and think it's not going to happen to you, it happens to you. Yeah. I'll be on the what? I listen. Let me tell you, we all have choices. Again, and for me, when it comes to the parents, um, you have to let your kid grow up sometime. Okay, so if your kid is in front of me, I want you to. If your kid did something wrong, they need to take responsibility for that. Okay, that's part of it. That's part of life. So if you do something wrong, you take responsibility for it. Nobody should have to take responsibility for the things you did. If you know better, I mean, we all know better, right? So if you know better, what they say, do better. Okay. Is there anything else? Any more questions? Wow. Uh, I, I think so. It equalizes everything, the playing field. I can tell you right now, like, I never thought, when I was growing up and I was in high school, I never could imagine being where I am now. If that makes sense. I could never imagine being standing up and talking to you guys. I was one of the guys. I was one of the kids sitting where you guys are sitting. So I was not imagining actually talking and actually having, a nice house, a family. I couldn't imagine anything like that. So yeah, education helps out a lot. But it's a lot of jobs out there that, besides the traditional route, as far as like law school go, you have, if you know how much a welder makes a lot of money. It's jobs like that people we don't talk about. People don't, know anything about. Carpenters, a lot of jobs that make good money. And of course, the doctors and lawyers and things of that nature. Anything else? Any more questions? Cause I don't what? Go on and say it, man. Like, I don't like, see, this is the thing. I don't want to really, man, that's good. Thank you. I'm lactose intolerant, but I like but I used to like strawberry. Yeah, I used to like strawberry, but I can't eat it anymore. So y'all just doing this because y'all have to, huh? Really? Really? You don't have anything to say? My favorite car? Uh, that I can afford or that I can't afford? Probably a Bentley. If I get a Bentley, I like a Bentley. Yeah. I drive a Dodge truck. A Dodge Ram. Uh, am I the judge or am I a prosecutor or defense attorney? Because if I'm a prosecutor defense attorney, I don't eat because then I get a little nervous. If I'm a judge, um, I probably Popeyes, right, like right there. Oh, from Popeyes, I would get me a. I can no, I can tell you. See, you want to know if I'm telling the truth? I give me a four wings, the four wings with the pepper. I get the mashed potatoes. Yeah, spicy. So, go ahead. Um, dude, like can I answer that for real? Do y'all want me to answer that? Okay. Does it look like I need safety? I'm just saying, really, to be honest with you, does it look like I need? I had one case. I got one time. And this is not a joke. My bailiff laughed because it was a guy who had committed murder, two murders, and I was extra nice to him, and so But typically I don't need. I'm pretty I'm pretty nice to everybody, huh? I didn't do anything to him. I just have to read him his rights because he got. I just magistrate now. Hey, that didn't have anything to do with me. I do misdemeanors. So it's who? Uh, uh, no, we have a few district court judges. So the district court, county court handles the misdemeanors and the juvenile. That's the county court. The district court level, which is they handle the felonies. Which do I do I like my job? I love it. I love you guys. I love the kids. I love coming talking to you guys. I love the you know why? Let me tell you what's funny about this. Again, I have a 15-year-old daughter and she doesn't, she spends all her time in her room, right? So I understand the silent treatment from the kids. But I like talking to you guys because again, I was once like you, right? And probably I was rougher than you. I'm from Fort Worth, you remember? So again, I like it. It makes me feel good because it's the one thing about my life that the giving back is great. Makes me feel good about myself. I used to be a lot of things. Whatever you want to, whatever you want to think. I was that kid. Yeah, yeah, I was that kid. So I mean, I appreciate opportunity to come back to talk to you guys. So I know. I what kind of case did I lose? I mean, when I was a defense attorney, I used to feel good if they paid me. That was a joke, everybody. That was a joke. That was a joke. Uh, I mean, I don't know how I feel about when I win or lose. I don't. At the end of the day, I think we have a job to do, and you know, and so long as I've had a couple of clients when I was a defense attorney, I thought were innocent, and I lost those cases, and I kind of felt a certain type of way. But no, I um, I try to stay even keel when it comes to everything I do. Uh, we talking about juvenile or adult or both? Both, yeah, probably both. So when I was that's why I said y'all don't want to keep it real. I don't want to. I just we don't want to talk about real life. I just want to talk. We just want to have conversation. We don't want to talk about real life. I avoided the question. Yes, I did. I did. You want me to answer the question? I answered the question. Yes, I did. I got in trouble. I was in juvenile detention when I was a kid. Got in trouble. A bunch of friends were breaking into cars, and the neighborhood I came from, you don't snitch because if you snitch, y'all know what happens, right? So they were breaking into cars, and I promise you, I'm not just saying this because we have adults in the room. I really said, hey guys, you need to stop that. Nobody believes that when I say that, but I did tell them they need to stop. I like, you need to stop doing it. Um, but again, I wasn't going to tell on anybody because I couldn't tell on anybody. So I was sitting at home, and one day the officer came knocking on the door. My mom answered the door. We ended up having to go down to juvenile detention center. Luckily, one of the kids who was there, guy named David, David told him that I really didn't do anything. Like I really stayed in the car the whole time when they were doing it. And then me and David, we were both 16. The other two guys were 17. Okay. So they went to the adult system and we went to the juvenile system. And so I'm standing in front of you right now. They got convictions as adults. So that's the difference. I talk to them, yes. But I'm not about that life. Not about that life. Mm-hmm. It, it it did. We try to let things define us, and and we said no, and that's the reality of life. So the funny thing about it, I went to a school that was not very. I had a counselor tell me in high school that that I was doing great for my high school, but I would not be successful going to college. And this is, I was making good grades. I mean, um, and I wanted to prove her wrong, right? So after I got in a little trouble, I actually I had to do community service and some other things, but the community service I actually used on my college applications. And so it ended up being a blessing. I look back and it was a blessing. But back then I thought it was, I was like, oh, I got to do this community service. I used it on my college applications. But again, we fast forward, like I said in life, is that I probably would have never been in this situation I'm in now if I wouldn't have gotten in that trouble as a kid because it made me realize one, as I told you guys, I didn't snitch. Somebody snitched on me because they would never knew I was there if somebody didn't snitch on me, right? So somebody told that I was in the car. The highest way they knew I was in the car, right? Second thing, I looked at it that I was 16, and since I was 16, I was in the juvenile system, and that's why I ended up wanted to be, you know, a a juvenile attorney because I was in the juvenile system. I didn't get the same results as my friends who were adults already. We were same high school, same grade. They were just 17. I was just 16. My birthday was in August. This happened in like May. So I don't know if that answered the question. I tried to answer as much as I could of it, but at the end of the day, yeah, I'm grateful for that opportunity. Uh, you know, it taught me a lot. The way the system worked. I had I had a public defender, lawyer that represented me. They did a great job, and I'm here now. Any other questions? Yes. You can Google me. Just Google me. No, man, I ain't telling you my name because you gonna be trying to Google me for real. They can give you my information. Uh, no. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to talk about my favorite chicken or my like what kind of car I drive? What else? What else? My ideal vacation. My ideal vacation is the beach. Anywhere with a beach where I don't have to do much work. Just sit on the beach. Yes. I got relief. I'm out. Too late for say that question. Say the question. Thank you guys. Thank you. Y'all clap now. Clap. Clap. Thank you. I appreciate you. You.
ALC teachers, we're not done yet. We have a second presentation. Hi, this is a microphone, so it's projecting into our classrooms at ALC, and the students are asking questions in a chat over there.
Excellent.
You can clip it and just wear it.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Okay, I know it's been a long afternoon. New face, new energy. Come on. Hello, everybody. I am Judge Tyra McCollum. And were you there this morning? Okay. I was like, here, you look familiar. I just saw y'all this morning. And I am flipping my brain because I was doing another presentation on the other side of town. But I know Judge White. And I know that Judge White, he kind of goes hard. Did he go hard with y'all? Okay, well, then maybe he left the go hard for me. Maybe that's it. So let me ask you a question first. While they're loading that up, let me ask a question first. What questions were you asking Judge White? So I'm the judge of County Court at Law number 2 here in Fort Bend County, which means I have some juvenile cases. Some of you may have seen me there, or I also have misdemeanor cases. If you're young adults, 17, 18, and had an encounter, you may have seen me there also. And there is the circumstance, y'all, that I was a prosecutor in the DA's office for a long time. And I hope, though, I did not see any of you there. But so what questions did you have for Judge White that he didn't get to answer? None? Yes? No? That is a wonderful question. And if you just give me a second, I want to put a pin in that because that sort of speaks to what I wanted to share. And I'm not sure what my time frame is, so I'll share it quickly, which is the question she asked, which is, what happens when you got to go back to the same space that got you in that trouble? I take a lot of pride in sharing my background because that's the place I'm in, right? That was the place that I was in. I think it's important that you know that even though you might see me on the bench or you might see me here or there, the one thing that I never forget, and I look people in the eye, and I say that I never forget is forget where I started, right? So where's your clicker? We're going to skip some stuff. So can you go back for just a second? Let me show y'all this. So the whole theme, and I'm talking to ALC too, the theme for Red Ribbon Week this year was one that I really liked. It is Life is a Movie and you should film it drug free. I could sit here and I could give you a lot of platitudes. Like platitudes are like, I could just say, good job, good job. I could give you a lot of that. And I could say, don't do drugs. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. I could do the egg and I could do all of those things. And y'all would look at me and go, she's corny. That's corny, whatever. What I am saying to you is this right here has real meaning. That your life really is a movie. And you really should film it drug free, not because it's a corny thing not to do, but because you've got too much on the line. And the sooner you recognize, and I mean it, the sooner you recognize what you have to lose versus what you gain. So here's what you gain. What you gain is a high that's going to last an hour or less. What you gain is the need to now have to smoke more, do something else, add something to it, drink also, do whatever to get the same high that you had before. What you gain is probably an interaction with the police. What you gain is compromising your education. What you gain is not being able to pass a drug test when you go to a job. Are those like gifts that you want to gain? Because I tell you what, if those are the presents you're giving me, no thank you. I don't need Christmas. Because that's not Christmas. So instead of thinking about what you're going to get temporarily, how about you focus on what you're going to lose permanently? So, for example, might not matter a whole lot to you. Who has driver's license already? Raise your hand if you got a driver's license. Great. Who doesn't have a driver's license yet, but wants to have one someday? Let me tell you about the little consequences of this driver's license situation. So, if you have a drug offense and you get a conviction or stopped for alcohol, and your driver's license will, shall, will, must, will, all those verbs be suspended. That suspension can be anywhere from a period of 30 days to 180 days. Who in this room that has a license, raise your hand if you have a license, hold it up, come on. If you have a license and you want to not be able to drive for 180 days, keep your hand up. I'm sorry, did I miss a hand? Okay. Who doesn't have a license yet? Raise your hand. Just so that you know that the state's not playing with you either, because you can't say, ooh, doesn't apply to me. I don't have a license. Well, there's this little thing that the state does is what they call it, you lose your privilege. So what that means is they go ahead and put that suspension on your license, on your record, so that the day that you go to apply and you are so excited because you got your little parallel parking down and you did it and you made it and you did your right turns and you did your signal light and you changed lanes, and then you go to give them your little $16, walking away, ready to go tell your friends where you're driving. You know what they're going to say? Oh, Janie, baby, I'm sorry. You have your privilege has been suspended for 6 months. So come back in 6 months and then you'll get your license. How does that sound to y'all? How's that sound? I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want people to have to chauffeur me around. I would not want to walk up to DPS on what I think is going to be a great day because I Instagrammed and told everybody today was the day, and then I have to come back embarrassed. So instead of thinking about the temporary gain, think about the less temporary loss that you'll have. So here I am. I heard you say, I told y'all that life is a movie, film it drug free. Life is my movie. Your life is your movie. I'm making my movie. And I don't know about y'all, I'm making me an Oscar winner. You can make whatever kind of movie you want, but my movie is going to be full of lights and awards and music, and they're going to have to drag me off the stage because that's the kind of life I'm making for myself. That's the life I hope you're making for yourself. So here I am as me. Cute, right? Come on, y'all. Y'all know that's cute. Yes, thank you. Right? Heart. Okay, so that's me. And that's me younger than you. That's my act one me, right? Who just didn't know what life was going to bring or what life was going to offer. That's the hopeful me before I had the stress of high school and the stress of middle school and the stress of Mean Girls and the stress of mean boys and the stress of peer pressure, right? This is the innocent me. But that innocent me grew up in this neighborhood. Who's heard Missouri City? Willow Ridge, my space, my jam, right? If you know the neighborhood, that's Hunter's Glen. You know the neighborhood and you know the space. That's not easy living. I didn't grow up with a spoon, a silver spoon, no color, just a regular old spoon. My parents have high school diplomas. My mom did not work much of her life. She was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked hard, multiple jobs, almost my entire life. Willow Ridge, plenty of obstacles there, plenty of places for trouble, right? Plenty of places. I love my alma mater. I encourage y'all, go up there and look. I'm on the wall of honor. Love it. But I would not sit here and ask you to do something that I don't think that you are capable of doing. Because I'm exhibit A, that it can be done. You just got to want it. So high school's tough, right? If you don't think that there was not weed right there in school, that I couldn't go get it anywhere I wanted it at Willow Ridge, I could. I love my alma mater. I wish we weren't that way. But you got choices, y'all. You got choices. Choose. But understand that the choices that you make, you will live by them. And you might not have the consequences of those choices right now. But eventually, my mom used to have a phrase, and y'all, grown people, work with me on this one. My mom used to say, what's done in the dark will eventually come to the light. That means it don't matter. You can keep chancing it, but eventually you'll get caught. Eventually. And it might take us a minute because y'all are slick and smart. So it might take us a minute. That's what I tell my boys. We have 3 boys. Y'all can get over on me most of the time. You might even get over on me 80% of the time. But heaven help you when I get to that 20. Right? So that's where I am. Just say no. Well, it was hard. It was hard to just say no. So you know what you do? You got to find your people. Go find your peers. Go find the people who think like you. You might not know exactly who you want to be yet in this moment, but do you know that you don't want to just be what you are right now? Who wants to be what you are right now for the rest of your life? Any takers? Think through what your choices could be. Think the impossible. Because what I can tell you is when I was walking those halls at Willow Ridge, I never saw myself as a judge. But you know what I did see myself as? Somebody who was out of that environment. And that was enough to carry me through. So then here I am, growing up a little bit. UT, hook 'em horns. Yep, hook 'em horns, right? And I thought the trouble would be over because now I'm not over there on the East End anymore. But guess what? I got to UT and there were a whole new set of pitfalls because everybody there was drinking. And I was thinking to myself, well, they just smoking weed where I live. They weren't really drinking. So now they're drinking and that becomes a whole thing, a whole social scene. But you know what I had to say? You know, I can't do all that because I got a scholarship. And if I don't meet my scholarship, I can't stay here. So I didn't have a cushion. I didn't have a fallback plan at all. You know what my fallback plan was? Go home and get a job. Because my parents said, we can't afford UT. So you take your tuition, you take your scholarship, and I suggest you do everything you can with that. When you have those opportunities, y'all, Don't squander them, because here's what I need you to know. All you need in your life is just one person who is willing to invest in you. Just one. Do not ever get down on yourself and think and say, well, I don't have all this and I don't have all that. I didn't grow up here and I didn't have a slew of people. Guess what? I didn't have an inheritance. I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have any of those things waiting for me either. But you know what I did have besides my parents? I had one counselor who looked my mother in the face when I said, "Yay, I got a full scholarship to Prairie View. Great school. Don't misunderstand my message. Great school. I had a full scholarship to Prairie View. My mother marched me right up to the school. I don't even think I've told you this story. She marched me right up to that school, to that counselor, and she said, "That's great. And this is beautiful. But you know what? Where the other kids that don't look like her, where are they going to school with her grades? Because that's the school I want my daughter to go to." And that counselor poured into me and said, "Well, did you think about UT?" Well, no, I didn't think about UT. I didn't even know to think about UT. And yet, there I am wearing the shirt. You just need one, y'all. You just need one. So when you see that one teacher who is reaching to you, that one coach who is reaching out to you, that one whomever, maybe what they have to give you is more than enough if you would just try. So marching off, I think I'm done. UT, the pitfalls are over. I'm marching off to law school. Came back home. U of H, here I am. Wasn't I cute again? So here I am at in law school. I got all busy in my other days. I cut, got all sassy, cut all my hair off, blah, blah. Decided I was done with that. Let me do this back again, right? So here I am in law school, and here I'm thinking, you know what? Surely now I can focus because it's law school and everybody wants to be lawyers and have these wonderful, great careers. And then it was studying all the time and it was so hard and staying up for hours on end. And people are like, you need a little pick me up? You need a little pep? Little something to help you stay awake? Do you think that that was meant for my good? Do you? Right? So all that happened was that it was just another space of trouble. So if for any reason you think that if I could just get through 11th grade, it'll all get better. If I could just graduate from high school, it'll all get better. Well, yes, let me be clear. The hope and the prayer is that, yes, lots of it will be better. But do not fool yourself into thinking that you still will not have challenges at the next level, because you will. Your job is to make sure you have built up enough muscle in Act 1 and Act 2, so that by the time I get to Act 3, I got all that muscle I brought with me. And I'm that much stronger when I get here. So now, come on now. Y'all don't even worry about that. The last group didn't even know who. Do y'all know who that is? Not the grown people. Y'all know. Do any of y'all know who that is? Oh, my children. That is Stevie Wonder. Look it up on your phones. Just don't know. So Stevie Wonder had this whole thematic song, and it was "Don't Drive Drunk," because now I'm a grown professional and surely things are great. But then let's go to happy hour. So you never escape the challenges. You just have to make sure you escape it in your own mind. All right. So here I am now, Act 4. I'm telling y'all, I love Act 4 because Act 4 is the product of the choices I made in Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. So Act 4 lets me live my best life. So remember how I told y'all it wasn't an easy road at Willow Ridge? Remember I told y'all that? This is my husband of 28 years and my high school boo, my bae. my high school bae. And so the same challenges that he had, I had, right? So I don't think for one second that I went off to Texas and some rich guy swept me up off my feet and made it all great. That is not how it happened. We had to work super hard. When he finished school, we had already been married and had our second baby when he graduated from college. And so one of my favorite pictures of us is my husband and his college graduation gown with one baby on one hip, one baby on the other hip. I'm telling you that to say that it is never too late to get it done. Everybody's path is not going to be the same path. And so that was the one baby who was on one hip. That's the other baby who was on the other hip, and that was the baby that was still in heaven at the time. And that's the baby now. Everything that I worried about for myself in Act 1, 2, and 3, it's the same things I worry about for them. Because they're living, they got the benefit of some parents who worked hard. But I'm confident, and I will tell you, as they would tell you if they were here, we are not nearly as generous as they want us to be. Because my response is, I had to go get it myself. So you can afford to go get some for yourself too, right? Because I need them to build up that muscle too. Like I'm asking you to build up your muscle. Have y'all seen the movie? Y'all's version, not the version we saw. Have y'all seen the movie with Jaden Smith, Karate Kid? Yep, y'all saw it, right? So why did he keep having him to wax on, wax off? Why? What was he doing? Come on, what was he doing? Y'all know what? He kept making him do it because the wax on, wax off was to practice so that when he got in the match, he could fight. That's what you're doing right now. You're practicing so that when you get to the real world, you can go fight. All right. So Act 4, back a second. Back. Write the story you want to read, film the story you want to see. Because I tell you what, as I get to that part of life where I'm getting ready to start looking back on my movie, I like what I see. I want you to like what you see when you look back too. So here I am now in Act 4 and Act 5. So that little girl that you saw on the first picture, that little girl in Act 1 could not envision when she walked through the halls of Willow Ridge, she couldn't envision Act 5. Not a bad thing. She just couldn't see it because that little girl was just trying to make it through. But that's why I say find somebody to walk this journey with you. Find somebody who is going to pour into you so that you don't have to see it all. You don't have to see the end of the story right now. Just see enough of the story that is positive. Just see enough of the story that you don't make that one bad decision that ruins your life, that you don't take that one sip out that cup because they told you it was just spiked Kool-Aid and it really wasn't. Because they told you just take this half pill, it's just a little picker upper, and it's really some garage made fentanyl. Because guess what? Those are choices you might not get the chance to take back. You actually, for real, we were smoking weed. Well, I wasn't, but I'm just saying, smoking weed was the thing. Right? So the worst that was going to happen is you're going to get high. You might get in trouble. Heaven forbid you got into a car accident, but something bad could happen. Let me tell y'all, the worst thing that can happen with y'all with that one time is that you don't get a redo. You don't get a redo. Is that a risk you're willing to take? Think about that. So You don't get in this life what you wish for. You'll get some of it, but you're not going to get all of it. You will get what you work for if you just stay in the fight. All right? Come on, y'all. Yeah? Okay. So what execute. What questions do you have? I told the morning crew, y'all could ask me anything you wanted. I'd answer almost anything. Almost anything. Anything at all. So every word came with a problem. Literally. African American, woman, Ridge, lawyer, judge. Every single word carried a challenge, right? Because things were different. And so I say to you, my girls, it ain't great. Don't get me started on all the things that still aren't great for young ladies and for women. But let me put a semicolon. But it is so much better because here's what I will tell y'all. So years ago, I was a baby lawyer. I was the only Black person in the DA's office. I was one of about 4 or 5 women. And I had a judge who told me, y'all will remember this, it was when we started wearing pantsuits. Remember when pantsuits became a thing? Y'all don't know about that. We used to wear dresses. Dresses was considered the professional standard, but pantsuits were a thing. And I had a judge who said to me that I was inappropriate and out of order and that I needed to dress appropriately when I came to the courtroom, to which I responded, well, how would you really know what's appropriate? I'm the sassy one, right? So, um, it thank God it's different for y'all. It's not amazing, but it's better. And find those places of better and take advantage of them. UT, it took me 4 because my scholarship was 4, and my parents said they couldn't pay for another semester. So I had to do it in the requirements of the scholarship. I worked hard at UT and I went to University of Houston Law School. And again, it was on a scholarship because my parents looked at me and said, that's great. We know that we helped you do this and that, but guess what? You have 2 brothers behind you that we got to help get them through school. So take your scholarship for U of H. And right, and that didn't come from a place of them not loving me. They gave me the very best that they had to give me. But right, who here understands shared resources? The family pie is this big and it doesn't stretch. It just depends on how you have to carve it up. But it's still the same size of the pie, right? Um, my family would probably say I don't balance it very well. That's what I'm sure. So those boys go back. Thank you. So those boys go back. Okay. So our boys. I was the tough love mom. Right. See, I don't even have on my pumps. I chunked them, right? Because I would much rather have on tennis shoes. I'm an all boy mom. And I was tough on the boys and required that their dad, my husband, he's a soft one. Well, they couldn't have a soft one and 2 soft ones. So I was the tough one. And I really instilled in them what I'm asking you to do for yourself, which is if we teach you independence. So when your teacher say to you, Miss, I'm having trouble with this problem. Can you help me? And what do you send them back the first time? You go try again. Go look at it again. And it doesn't mean that they're not going to help you on the second time, but they want you to learn some of that independence yourself. And so I guess I was so independent with them that this one went off to college in Florida. and graduated. That was actually at his graduation, and he's back at Texas A&M. And yeah, whatever, UT. This one went off to school in Louisiana, and he just graduated in May, and so he is back here working. And this one is in his sophomore year at Howard University in DC. So I guess I ran them all off. But I'd made them each promise that they would marry a girl from Texas, so they would come back home. And so two of them will be back, and but I believe that they have had the benefit of a good life. And I probably don't balance enough because it's important to me to be in these spaces. Because I know that I was motivated when I was that girl. I was motivated by the people who I needed to be like. And if I'm not in these spaces, and if you don't see me in these spaces, then it's a missed opportunity for you. And I don't want anybody to miss opportunities. Anything else? Nothing from y'all? Okay. Go forth and do good in life. Do good in life.